Hey guys, welcome back. I wish you a wonderful, great Sunday evening, and we have a new OCG ban list that I quickly want to take a look at with you together, as the OCG ban list is probably the closest thing to what we could get over in Master Duel, so that's always quite exciting. It's always fun to look at how Konami balances certain things. So before we do that, let's just hop right over to Road of the King to quickly understand at which point the OCG is at, so we can take, I don't know, let's take the before the latest one here, and we can see, I mean, we have looked over this, right? We can see that the OCG, we look at the pie chart here, has Rescue Ace at the top, which we will get in the October pack as of the leaks right now. Rescue Ace in the top with 23%, which is a lot. Then we have Tier Elements. They are still playing Tier Elements, of course not like pure Tier Elements, because they have also had some hits here. And we have Purrely, Archetype we just have released in the game, then Vanquish Soul, one that we will get in the future, that also will get new support, but that's further up in the future. Then we have Labyrinth, Runic, Branded, Centurion, which is a new thing that will release in the TCG in a few months, I think. Then Magician and Dragon Link. And we can also take a look at this. We have the Rescue Ace list here. We have Tier Elements, and here you can see that's not like pure Tier Elements. It's Tier Elements with a lot of different stuff, with synchro stuff in here. You have cards like the Adventure Engine, that's also in here. A lot of synchro monsters are in here. Obviously, we are also playing the deck with the Chaos Ruler to be able to mill 5, which is quite effective. New cards like the SP Little Knight, which definitely will change the game when it comes out in the TCG as well as in Master Duel. But yeah, this is how the OCG meta looks like at the moment. And you can see Purrely kind of looks like Purrely in Master Duel. Not given the fact that we don't have the Epony Noir, the little girl here that you can make with the Sleepy Memory. But yeah, let's look at the list and talk about this. There's obviously this part where old cards that were forbidden because they were too strong are coming back from the ban list, like Armageddon Knight, Super Heavy Samurai Motorbike. So the Super Samurai or the Super Heavy Samurai archetype that was destroyed in the TCG and we will still get in Master Duel is freed a bit again. It was quite strong, played together with the Emancipator archetype that we had just had the big Block Dragon, I think 2 forbidden hit, Trickstar, Light Stage, nothing too special here. Prankits, Meow Meow Moo was at 2 for a long time. I think it was also forbidden. Back in the day, it's also forbidden in the TCG when the Prankits deck was at its best. This card was really broken, but now let's talk about the interesting things here, right? We have a newly semi-limited Rescue Ace Airlifter from a 3/2/2. We can look at this Rescue Ace of the most played deck here. Obviously, they are taking some hits. You can see there's triple Airlifter here. An Airlifter is basically the start of your combo because it's able to search your, I think it's called Rescue, this little quick play spell here, which is then able to summon your boss monster. And the guy here, the Turbulence, is now able to make the like core play of your deck, which is setting 4 different Rescue Ace, I think, spells and quick play spells, but you can also set... Oh no, you can only set traps and quick play spells, I think. Then you can set 4 cards, so it's a 1-card set 4, which is obviously quite strong. This is the main play of the deck, and the Airlifter was consistency to getting you to this part of the line, so they are nerfing this down to 2, making it less consistent. I think this always is a nice hit. You don't want to take away the core game plan of the deck, which is the Turbulence, but you can definitely hit consistency cards, so yeah, the game plan does come online not that often, or you maybe can even interrupt them a little bit more effective. Then Purrely, obviously we have seen this Purrely as the second spot here in the pie chart, or it's a third spot, sorry. So Purrely as a third spot in the pie chart. We'll get the Purrely Delicious Memory, the thing that we also use. You can also see TCG at 1, OCG at 2. It will go 2/2. We can quickly look again at the list, and we can see here that Purrely also has another hit, which is Sleepy Memory at 1, and now they will also have Delicious at 2. I think this is quite nice, and I think this is also something that we can expect in the future. Obviously, Sleepy right now is not that big for us because we are missing this card here, but Sleepy is also the card that basically enables you to draw on your opponent's standby phase, which makes it one of the strongest quick play spells. So what you can do now basically, or what's happening now, is that you have 2 Delicious Memory and 1 Sleepy, so these are your best turn 1 cards. We are using Delicious right now, they are using Sleepy over in the TCG and OCG, and we will too in the future. And what you can do obviously is you can use my friend Purrely, take 1 Sleepy, 2 Delicious, and then at least get one of them to hand, so you can make either the Noir play or the Plum play that we are doing right now. I think the deck will become very weak once you, for example, hit also Delicious to 1, because then you can no longer guarantee getting one of your best turn 1 or one of your turn 1 plays that is working to your hand via the my friend Purrely, because then you would have to take something like 1 Delicious, one Sleepy, and then maybe one, I don't know, Beauty, and then sometimes you will just end up with the Beauty not being able to get into your Purrely Noir, and that would be very rough for the deck. They might at some point choose to do that to make it even less consistent, but I'm very interested in seeing how this will work out, because I think this could be the consistency hit to the deck that could bring it to to an acceptable point when it comes to the strength of this deck. Keep in mind that if you hit more of these quick play spells, you would definitely make the Purrely way worse, because it can then hit different Purrely cards way less consistently. So it's not only that you're nerfing this card by you not being able to draw it when you only have 2 instead of 3, and not being able to search 3 Delicious when you have your My Friend. It's also that this card becomes less consistent. So it's a bigger hit than it seems, but very interested in seeing how this will turn out in the future. Then we have Rivalry of Warlords from 3 to 2. It's also at 2 in the... it's at 1 in Master Duel, at 3 in TCG. You can see that the formats are handling the Floodgates very differently. It makes sense in Master Duel because we have best of 1 and you cannot side deck against the Floodgates, so it makes sense to have some stop there for the Floodgates so they can't take over the game, and everyone will basically be pissed off because they are always getting floodgated out of the game. That would be fun for no one. So very interesting that they're also deciding to put this at 2. The TCG is way more liberal with the floodgates, which benefits me playing Labyrinth in the TCG a lot. Then we have Curse with the Ox Magnite, which recently came back in the TCG and also in Master Duel, I think, to 3. That's cool. I talked about this a lot. I like when they release old archetypes that are not that strong and make them playable again. Supreme King Dragon Dark Worm, which I'm not quite sure what this accomplishes. I'm not familiar with this card, so I'm going to skip over that. Same thing with Dragonic Diagram. I think this is also a card that was True Draco. Okay, so I think at one point True Draco was really strong, and then it was limited. You can also see TCG and OCG both have them on the limit list. Then we have Floundreese and the Magnificent Map from 1 to 2. Interesting, and I think this works because you can see in the pie chart here that Floundreese, it was a strong player, especially in the Telements format, but you can see the Floundreese deck is nowhere to be seen, and I like this, giving them back a good consistency tool in the map, which is a really important core card, so that they could then maybe play once again. Then we have newly limited Telement Kashtira from 3 to 1. We can look or take a look at the Telements deck if they are playing. Yeah, triple Telement Kashtira. If you don't know what the card does, we will get this in the future as well. During the main phase, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, banish 1 Kashtira or Telements card from your hand or graveyard. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can send the top 3 cards of either player's deck to the graveyard, so a Merly of sorts, you could say. And then if this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So that's quite nice. That's the consistency card the Telements needed. When they got all their hits, you can see they have every name at 1. This will make Telement, if we get it at 3 in Master Duel, will make Telement again playable. We might see this in the next upcoming pack when we get the rest of the Kashtira cards, but I think with Kashtira at full power, not a lot of people will play Telements, but we will have to see how this works out. From 3 to 1 here, so making the Telements deck way more inconsistent. We have Block Dragon from 2 to 1. Block Dragon was at 2 for a long time in the OCG, though it doesn't make a big difference. It's either at okay, it does make a difference drawing it and then being able to get it out of hand, but you normally are going to search the Block Dragon with your Gallant Granite, the XYZ rank 4 monster that you can make with 2 level 4 monsters, and then you can just search the guy and have it in the hand, so it's not the biggest difference. You at least need 1 Block Dragon. That's why being that or having that at the Forbidden list here in the TCG and also in Master Duel definitely kills the Emancipator deck, but this being a 2 is not the biggest difference. being at 1 instead of 2 is not the biggest difference. We have newly forbidden 2 cards, or 4 cards even, wow, okay, and 3 of them are tier limit related. So Agido is finally going from 1 to 0, Kelbeck is finally going from 1 to 0, and also Chaos Ruler from 3 to 0. So we are the only format right now that still has Chaos Ruler. That will be interesting. I think this Chaos Ruler will not survive in our format forever, and this is definitely a hard hit for Dragon Link, but obviously, let's take a look at the list again. Obviously also a hard hit for Telements. We have the Millers here. They are very important for the deck. We have Chaos Ruler, also very important, so you're basically losing all your mill opportunities. Or do you lose all your mill opportunities? So these together with the Chaos Ruler are your main ones. You have the Telements Kashtira, of course. Yeah, you have your names that can also mill stuff, but this will make the deck once again weaker, even though the TCG or the OCG seems to always want to play this deck. You can see how many different engines there are in this deck. There is Kashtira here, there is the Telements Planet, then you have the Adventure engine, then you have the new, I'm blanking on the name, this is also a new little engine that is coming to the game with Age of Overlord to the TCG in a few weeks, and we will also get it in Master Duel, but not in the next future. And number 86 Heroic Champion Rongi Mignard also to 0. Now it's at 0 in every format. I think that's fine. That's just a stupid card. That is really not the way that Yu-Gi-Oh! Should be played. Just one card that can't be destroyed and then ends the game if you like summon it the correct way together with the, I think, Sales Ban, the spell card. So yeah, I like cards like this going to the forbidden list, but yeah, these are all the changes. I like that they have hit all the top meta decks, but very interesting that Rescue Ace only has this is only a small consistency hit for the strongest decks in the meta game. This is not that impactful. You can also search this with your Rota and stuff and your pots and other cards, so not that impactful at all. This one was really hard hit. I think this will finally push out Purrely Telements out of the meta, and then the Purrely hit is also bigger than it seems, bigger than the Rescue Ace Airlifter, that's for sure, but interesting to see over the next few weeks how this will play out for the TCG, for the OCG. Today with the words, guys. Will they still play Telements, or is it finally dead? I mean, it's crazy how long this deck has stayed around. This deck has released in the TCG in, like, I think a year ago, and it was released in the OCG, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, guys, I think in April 2022, and it's still one of the best decks over here. That's crazy. It's obviously because the engine is so strong. The engine is so strong that with such few cards, such few Telements cards, you can still build a deck that's like the second best deck in the meta game, or is it the second most played decks, you could say. Doesn't really mean that it's the best deck, but it's just crazy. Let's see over the next few weeks how this develops. I will keep you updated because I really like these metagame breakdowns here. Yeah, let me know what you think of the ban list in the comments. Thanks for being here, guys. I wish you a great Sunday evening, and we will see each other in the next one.